Confidence is not something you wake up with one morning. It is not magic. It is not luck. It is not a personality trait reserved for a few special people. Confidence is built. Slowly. Quietly. Repeatedly. And that truth matters because too many people are waiting to feel confident before they begin living the life they want. They think confidence comes first, then action follows. But life works in the opposite direction. Action comes first. Repetition comes first. Effort comes first. Failure comes first. Discipline comes first. Then confidence begins to grow. Real confidence is earned through proof. Proof that you can survive hard days. Proof that you can keep your word. Proof that you can recover after disappointment. Proof that you can learn, adapt, improve, and continue. You cannot borrow belief from another person forever. Someone can encourage you. Someone can support you. Someone can remind you of your potential. But eventually, your confidence has to come from your own experience. It has to come from the moments where you chose to move forward, even while fear was still sitting in your chest. That is where confidence is born. Not in comfort, in courage, not in perfect results, in repeated effort. And if you have been struggling with self-doubt, hesitation, fear, or the feeling that you are not enough, understand this clearly. You are not weak because you do not feel confident yet. You simply have not built enough evidence for your mind to trust you fully. But that can change. Starting now. A lot of people confuse confidence with loudness. They think confident people are the ones who speak the most, show off the most, or never appear nervous. But confidence is much deeper than appearance. Real confidence is calm. It is steady. It does not need constant approval. It does not panic every time something goes wrong. Real confidence is the quiet understanding that no matter what happens, you can handle yourself. You can learn. You can adapt. You can recover. That kind of confidence cannot be faked for long because life eventually tests every mask. The person who only looks confident breaks down under pressure because their belief was built on image instead of substance. But the person who earned confidence through struggle becomes stable. They become difficult to shake because their belief is rooted in experience. They have seen themselves survive things they once thought would destroy them. They have seen themselves improve in areas where they once felt weak. They have built a history of showing up, and that history becomes a source of strength. This is why confidence is not something you wait for. It is something you train for. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to strengthen it. Every hard conversation, every difficult morning, every uncomfortable step, every moment where you choose discipline over excuses. These moments are building your identity. They are teaching your mind whether you are someone who avoids life or someone who faces it. That difference changes everything. The reason many people feel insecure is not because they lack value. It is because they have stopped trusting themselves. Somewhere along the way, they began breaking too many promises to themselves. They kept saying tomorrow. They kept delaying action. They kept avoiding discomfort. And slowly, the mind learned a dangerous lesson. It learned that their words could not be trusted. That is why confidence started disappearing. Confidence cannot grow where self-betrayal becomes normal. Every time you quit too early, your mind notices. Every time you ignore what matters, your mind notices. Every time you make an excuse instead of making progress, your mind notices. This is not about shame. It is about awareness. Because the same mind that learned not to trust you can learn to trust you again. But it will not happen through positive thinking alone. It will happen through action. Repeated action. Honest action. Disciplined action. The moment you start keeping small promises to yourself, something begins to change internally. You wake up when you said you would. You complete the task you wanted to avoid. You finish the workout. You focus for one more hour. You choose growth over distraction. These actions may look small from the outside, but your brain interprets them as proof. Proof that you are becoming reliable. Proof that you are capable of follow-through. Proof that you are no longer living only through intention. And once your mind sees enough proof, confidence starts returning naturally. That is why confidence and discipline are deeply connected. Discipline creates evidence. Evidence creates trust. Trust creates confidence. A disciplined person does not always feel motivated, but they keep moving anyway. And every time they move despite discomfort, they reinforce the belief that they can handle difficult things. That belief becomes emotional strength. This is important because life will never remove discomfort completely. There will always be uncertainty. There will always be pressure. There will always be moments where fear tries to convince you to stay small. If your confidence depends on life always feeling easy, then your confidence will disappear the moment life becomes difficult. But if your confidence is built through discipline, then difficulty no longer destroys it. Difficulty strengthens it. You begin to realize that fear does not mean stop. It means grow. It means stretch. It means you are entering a place that demands a stronger version of you. The person who understands this stops running from discomfort and starts using it. They stop waiting to feel fearless and start becoming courageous. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is action in the presence of fear. And every courageous action adds another brick to the foundation of your confidence. Many people spend years trying to look confident instead of becoming confident. They focus on image, appearance, social approval, or temporary validation. But external approval is unstable. If your confidence depends on how people react to you, then your emotional state will always be controlled by outside opinions. One compliment will lift you up. One criticism will crush you. That is not confidence. That is dependency. Real confidence is internal. It comes from alignment between your values and your actions. It comes from knowing that you are trying, growing, learning, and improving regardless of who is watching. The strongest people are not always the loudest people. Often, they are the quiet ones who built themselves through pain nobody else saw. They are the people who kept going during lonely seasons. They are the people who stayed disciplined when nobody was praising them. They are the people who practiced in silence until the results finally became visible. Their confidence is stable because it was earned in private. That is why you should stop chasing quick confidence and start chasing real confidence. Quick confidence fades when pressure arrives. Real confidence grows stronger under pressure because it was built there. You do not need to convince the world you are capable. You need to prove it to yourself through consistent effort. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing they must feel ready before they begin. But readiness often comes after action, not before it. Think about every skill you admire. Nobody begins as an expert. Nobody starts fully prepared. People become capable through repetition, through mistakes, through correction, through persistence. The same is true for confidence. You build it by entering situations that challenge you. You build it by trying again after failure. You build it by staying present even when you feel uncomfortable. The first time may feel awkward. The second time may still feel uncertain. But over time, your nervous system adapts. Your brain begins to recognize that the situation is survivable. Fear loses some of its power. Confidence grows because familiarity grows. This is why avoiding challenges weakens confidence. Avoidance teaches your mind that you are fragile. It teaches your mind that discomfort must be escaped. But facing challenges teaches your mind something different. It teaches resilience. It teaches adaptability. It teaches capability. The more experiences you survive, the more your confidence becomes rooted in reality instead of fantasy. Another reason confidence feels difficult to build is because many people compare their beginning to someone else's middle. They see another person speaking confidently, succeeding publicly, or handling pressure well, and they assume that person was always that way. But what they do not see is the process behind the result. They do not see the years of insecurity, failure, repetition, and self-correction that happened before the visible success arrived. They only see the polished moment. Comparison becomes dangerous because it convinces you that you are behind when you are actually just in the building stage. Confidence grows at different speeds for different people. Some people need more repetitions. Some people need more healing. Some people need more life experience before they fully trust themselves. That is okay. Stop measuring your growth against someone else's timeline. Focus on your own evidence. Focus on your own progress. Focus on becoming slightly stronger, slightly clearer, slightly more disciplined than you were yesterday. That is how lasting confidence is built. Not through comparison, through repetition and self-respect. Self-respect plays a major role in confidence because confidence is difficult to maintain when you secretly know you are neglecting your own standards. If you constantly ignore what matters, your mind becomes divided. One part of you wants growth. Another part keeps choosing comfort. That conflict creates insecurity. But when your actions begin matching your goals, your inner world becomes calmer. You start feeling aligned. You start feeling honest with yourself. That honesty creates peace. And peace strengthens confidence. A person who respects themselves does not need to pretend they are perfect. They simply know they are trying sincerely. They know they are facing life honestly. They know they are no longer running from responsibility. That awareness creates inner stability. The goal is not perfection. The goal is integrity. Integrity means your actions and values point in the same direction. And when they do, your confidence naturally becomes stronger because your mind stops fighting itself. There is another truth people rarely talk about. Confidence is built through surviving embarrassment. That sounds uncomfortable, but it is real. Many people avoid growth because they fear looking foolish. They fear failing publicly. They fear being judged. But the willingness to be imperfect is one of the greatest advantages a person can have. Every successful person has embarrassed themselves at some point. Every skilled person was once inexperienced. Every strong communicator once stumbled over words. Every disciplined person once struggled with consistency. Growth requires awkward stages. If you refuse to experience those stages, you refuse to grow. Confidence increases every time you realize that embarrassment did not destroy you. You speak up even though your voice shakes. You try even though you are uncertain. You fail, recover, and try again. These experiences slowly remove the illusion that mistakes are fatal. They teach you that discomfort is temporary and survivable. And once you stop treating discomfort like an emergency, your confidence begins to rise naturally. Confidence also grows when you stop obsessing over outcomes and start focusing on process. Many people lose confidence because they judge themselves entirely by results. If things go well, they feel worthy. If things go badly, they feel broken. But life is too unpredictable for confidence to depend only on outcomes. Sometimes you can do everything right and still face rejection. Sometimes progress takes longer than expected. Sometimes effort is invisible for a while. If your confidence only survives success, then failure will always control you. But when you learn to value effort, discipline, learning, and resilience, your confidence becomes more stable. You stop asking, "Did I win immediately?" and start asking, "Did I grow? Did I stay disciplined? Did I handle this with maturity? Did I continue even when it was difficult?" Those questions create a stronger mindset because they focus on what you can control. You cannot control every result, but you can control your preparation, your response, your attitude, and your effort. Confidence built on controllable behaviors is far more stable than confidence built only on outcomes. Another important part of building confidence is learning how to talk to yourself during difficult moments. Your inner voice matters. If every mistake becomes proof that you are worthless, your confidence will always collapse under pressure. But if your inner voice becomes more balanced, your resilience improves. This does not mean lying to yourself or pretending everything is fine. It means speaking to yourself with honesty and strength instead of constant humiliation. Instead of saying, "I always fail," you learn to say, "I am still learning." Instead of saying, "I am weak," you say, "I need more practice." Instead of saying, "I will never improve," you say, "Improvement takes repetition." These shifts matter because your brain listens to the words you repeat most often. If your internal language is always destructive, your confidence will struggle to grow. But when your internal language becomes disciplined, constructive, and honest, your mindset becomes stronger. You begin to treat yourself like someone worth developing instead of someone worth insulting. That change creates emotional stability, and emotional stability supports confidence. Confidence also requires patience. You cannot rush trust. Think about real trust in relationships. Trust is not built in one conversation. It is built through repeated actions over time. The same thing happens internally. Your mind learns to trust you when your actions become consistent. If you have spent years doubting yourself, it may take time to rebuild that trust. Do not let that discourage you. Slow progress is still progress. Every day you keep your word matters. Every day you choose discipline matters. Every day you face fear instead of avoiding it matters. You are teaching your mind a new pattern. You are showing yourself that growth is possible. The process may feel slow, but strength built slowly often lasts longer because it is rooted deeply. Quick confidence can disappear quickly. Earned confidence becomes part of your identity. This is why failure is not always your enemy. Failure often becomes the training ground where confidence develops. When everything goes perfectly, you never discover your resilience. You never learn how strong you are under pressure. But when life challenges you, something important becomes possible. You begin discovering your capacity. You begin realizing that you can survive more than you thought. The first setback hurts deeply because you are unfamiliar with recovery. But every recovery after that changes you. You become less fragile. You become less afraid of mistakes. You become more willing to take risks because you understand that failure is not the end of your identity. It is information. It is experience. It is part of growth. Many people who now appear confident became that way because they stopped fearing failure so much. They understood that failure was not proof they were incapable. It was proof they were trying. That shift changed everything. There is also a hidden connection between confidence and responsibility. People become more confident when they start handling their lives instead of constantly escaping them. Every time you take responsibility for your health, your finances, your habits, your goals, your mindset, or your future, you become stronger internally. Responsibility teaches capability. Capability builds confidence. Avoidance creates weakness because it trains your mind to believe you cannot handle life. Responsibility teaches the opposite. It says, "This may be difficult, but I can face it." The more responsibilities you handle successfully, the more evidence your mind gathers that you are capable. This is why productive routines often improve confidence. Structure creates momentum. Momentum creates progress. Progress creates belief. A person who keeps showing up begins to feel different internally because they are no longer living in constant avoidance. Another important truth is that confidence is connected to preparation. The more prepared you are, the calmer you become. Preparation reduces unnecessary fear because you know you have practiced. You know you have studied. You know you have repeated the skill enough times to trust yourself. This does not guarantee perfection, but it creates stability. Imagine trying to speak publicly without preparation. Fear increases because your mind knows you are unprepared. But when you prepare thoroughly, your nervous system relaxes slightly because you have evidence. This applies to every area of life. The more prepared you become emotionally, mentally, physically, and practically, the stronger your confidence grows. Preparation is one of the most underrated forms of self-respect. It is the decision to take your future seriously enough to train for it. The truth is that nobody can hand you lasting confidence. Motivation can inspire you temporarily. Advice can guide you temporarily. Encouragement can lift you temporarily. But eventually, confidence must become personal. It must come from your own actions, your own growth, your own discipline, your own resilience, and your own repeated proof. That is why confidence earned through struggle feels so different from confidence borrowed from praise. Borrowed belief disappears when criticism arrives. Earned belief survives because it has roots. It has memory. It remembers the hard days you survived. It remembers the moments you wanted to quit, but continued anyway. It remembers the discipline nobody else saw. That memory becomes strength. If you feel insecure today, do not interpret that as failure. Interpret it as unfinished evidence. You are still building. You are still learning how capable you really are. The answer is not hiding from life until confidence magically appears. The answer is stepping into life more consistently. Speak even if your voice shakes. Start even if your work is imperfect. Apply even if rejection is possible. Try even if failure is uncomfortable. Confidence is built by participation. Every time you participate honestly, you gain more evidence that you can handle reality. That evidence slowly changes your identity. You stop seeing yourself as fragile. You stop seeing yourself as helpless. You begin seeing yourself as adaptable, capable, and resilient. And this process changes more than your confidence. It changes your whole relationship with yourself. You become less dependent on external approval because your belief is now rooted internally. You stop chasing validation everywhere because you already know you are becoming stronger through your own effort. You stop collapsing every time someone misunderstands you because your identity is no longer controlled by outside opinions. You become steadier, more grounded, more mature emotionally. That is the reward of earned confidence. It creates inner peace because your belief no longer changes every hour depending on circumstances. You know who you are becoming because you are actively building that person every day. So stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting to feel fearless. Stop waiting for perfect certainty before you move. Confidence does not arrive first. Action does. Discipline does. Repetition does. Responsibility does. Courage does. Every small action you take today is teaching your mind something about who you are. Teach it strength. Teach it consistency. Teach it resilience. Teach it that you are someone who keeps going. Teach it that discomfort is not danger. Teach it that growth is possible. One action at a time, One challenge at a time, one honest effort at a time, your confidence will grow. Not because someone gave it to you, but because you earned it. And confidence earned through effort becomes the kind that lasts when life gets difficult. That is the confidence worth building.